I'm going to show you how to spatchcock a chicken with a German Wusthof Classic Demi bolster and a Japanese Shun Classic Santoku. And there's a really good chance that by the end of this video, one of these knives is going to be totally Quick tip, when you're working with chicken or any type of meat that's raw, sometimes it's easy to just double layer your gloves so you can rip one off and keep going without having to wash your hands. What does it mean to spatchcock a chicken? Am I just talking dirty to you, or does this actually mean something? Basically, when you spatchcock a chicken, what you're gonna do is allow it to lie flat so it will cook more evenly, especially in high heat environments like when you're roasting, more so than when you are slow cooking or smoking. What we're going to do is remove the spine, and then we are going to flatten the breastplate. The chicken is going to lie totally flat, breast up. Well, everything essentially will be up at that point. What am I going to do this with? The first is this Wusthof Classic. Ooh, did you hear that weird throat noise? Anyway, the first is this Wusthof Classic Demi Bolster 8-inch chef's knife. Now, I want you to pay attention to the blade. Look at the light all along the edge here. This blade is totally fine. There's no gouges, there's no divots, there's no weird light marks that are just reflecting odd. It's in perfect shape. Wusthof Classic, 56 to 58 Rockwell, stainless steel, fully forged, full tang, triple riveted. You know the drill. I'm not here to talk about necessarily Wusthof. It's using a softer steel German style blade. Now, what's next? This is the Shun Classic Santoku. Notice the edge right there. No divots, no weird light reflections that are going along. It is in really good shape. To be honest with you, I don't know if I've ever actually used this blade. I've talked about it. Maybe I have. I think I pulled it out once in a prep sesh just to show it, but it's one of those blades, you know, I don't absolutely use them all. I can use a Shun Classic chef's knife, which I have many times. So this is literally brand new. Keep in mind what this looked like before. Most of the time, if you're spatchcocking a chicken, you want to use shears. You should use maybe something like a dual purpose chopper, like this CCK. It's got a relatively sharp edge, it's got wide geometry and a thick spine. It's designed for tasks like this. There are Japanese knives that you could use, like a Deba or a Deba, and some other thicker, heavier, not as fine and sharp. Here's the deal. I'm sick and tired of hearing people say that Shun knives are chippy. They are no chippier than any other Japanese knife that is out there. If you're chipping a Shun, it's on yoon. Oh man, I can't believe that just came out of my mouth, but I like it. I'm expecting this to chip because these knives aren't supposed to be used like I'm about to, but we're gonna get started with this Wusthof Classic Demi bolster. Okay, here's the thing. The best way that I have found to go about doing this is to start with the spine, wings up, neck up, because you've got a bigger base here to stabilize it. The legs rest down. It helps you get more stabilized. And in the sense of my camera angles, I'm hoping this one will catch this. You'll see a little bit from the top view. If I need to do an instant replay, I will. All we're gonna go here is down along the spine. Now, if you want like a little guide, you could just take your knife, cut along the spine on each side. That is essentially what we're cutting out. It's thinner here, and then it gets thicker right there where its little butt tail used to be, okay? That's your guide. if you need one. Let's go. We're going to come in on one side. Like so. This still has all the, oh, cool. I got the giblets. I didn't know that that was going to be in there. And then this other side, restabilize. You're going to come down. Okay, so it wants to flop, which is totally fine. So just in a sense, I'm going to choke up. Here we go. Done. Remove your spine. Put this off to the side. From here, in order, well, let's actually look at it from this way. You can see that the breast is basically still in the same position. It's lying a little bit flatter, a little bit looser. So what you want to do, you can do this by hand. You could just come in here, push down, or find the center of that breastplate, which is bone and a cartilage-like whatever. You're going to come in, and you don't want to go all the way through. You don't want to split the breast, but just enough to get through. I split a little bit of the breast, but not too deep, because you want to get through that right there. Now, see how much flatter this is? The breasts are flat. The legs, I like to position like so. The wings, I'm going to try and keep this hand clean for right now. When I'm cooking them, I like to tuck back under like so. That way I don't end up burning the very tip of the wing. Sometimes they're nice to crunch on. Sometimes they get a bit overcooked. So I will keep it like that. Boom, good to go. For this, personally, I'm going to come in here. I'm going to trim off a little bit of this extra fat because it's really not going to do anything. I'm going to be roasting these, so all that fat's just going to render out. It's going to hit the bottom of the pan over the rack, and it's just going to muck up my oven. That's good. Good enough for me. Nothing wrong with fat rendering, but when it's not going anywhere beneficial, it doesn't make too much sense. What you do with this from here is completely up to you. However you want to season it, cook it, doesn't matter. You're going to have a much more even cook, especially if it's cooked on a baking rack. Okay, now let's say, I mentioned this earlier. I'm gonna put this over here. Now this hand has raw chicken on it. It's essentially dirty. I don't like the handles of my knives to be dirty when I'm working with anything that is slippery and raw. Okay, let's put this here on the Wusthof side. Actually, what I need to do is show you this blade now so I don't forget to do it. Totally fine. There's sometimes with a knife like this, softer steel, you will see the steel along the edge just pushed up. It's not cracked, it's not fractured. It'll just have a little push to it. Sometimes honing it, it comes right out. Otherwise, a couple passes on a whetstone, it's next to new. If you did nothing, you'd likely be fine, but it will happen from time to time. Generally, a German-made Wusthof, a Zwilling, something that's a bit thicker behind the edge, providing that extra stability, so to speak, and not a super fine grind like this Santoku. It's going to hold up much better. Okay, you already know how to do it. Let's see what happens here. Just going to get rid of that for better grip. See? Wait, I did it the other way. Look at that. Breaking my own rules. I don't care which end you do first. I really don't. The benefit of doing this end first, the neck end, is it always widens out at the bottom. When it widens out, you can go with that flow as it thickens, and just exactly that, it widens out. If you go the other way, what you might end up doing is keeping your knife that wide, and then you're going to end up cutting into different parts of the body that you don't want to. Okay, I'm going to shut up. Shun Classic Santoku. See if I end up with some VG Max stuck in my chickies here. Get my gibbies out. Get over there. Come on. Done. Done. Give it a little torque, a twist there if you didn't see that. Now, little extra push there. We have, I don't know, I'm feeling kind of good about this. We'll see. I can see the blade differently than you can right now. Fold that back like I did the other one. Make sure I trim up this excess fat. Give it another look-see underneath. Get rid of you. Ready? Shun Classic Santoku. Just got done removing. Oh my God. Shun knives are chippy. Shut up. Oh my God. Look at that. Okay, so my camera's above me. That's where it gets dark on the blade. So I'm going to move this along to get that reflection. And then we'll go here. This part of the blade. You go from dark. Okay, so you see those tiny, right at the base of my thumb. There are little itty bitty. Okay, so did it chip? No. Do I have tiny little micro fractures? Yes. I don't know if I'll be able to get this. Right there. I'm going to put this, see it? There's those tiny little micro fractures. They're not chips in the sense of the edge is this way. It's not like a chip like that. I torqued this, which I did not do with the Wusthof. You saw when I did the breastplate, I gave it a little tiny bit of a torque. And it's right in the center there where I had that. So the reality is I bent the edge. This bending of the edge isn't exactly the easiest thing to just get rid of. In fact, okay, I might have a tiny little, wish I had my macro lens hooked up. Let's see if I can get it. Right there, I have a tiny little divot. Let's see what it looks like on this side. Yeah. Is it perfect? No. Is it a hell of a lot better than I thought it was going to be? Yes. Should you use this knife? A Shun Classic, a Shun Premier, Narukami, any of the Miyabi, any of the Enzo, Global, maybe because of the softer steel. Kramer, no. Tojiro VG10, pretty decent geometry. 60, 61 Rockwell, probably not. Any of these up here should you use for that? You guessed it, no. Anything back here aside from these dual purpose choppers? No. When I hear people say Shun knives are chippy, this is why. It's not the knife. This knife is totally fine. It's gonna be like any other blade that has a similar Rockwell with a similar geometry. It's that simple. So if you read in the forums, Shun knives are chippy. No, you're just using the knife improperly, bro. That's it. So, is this knife going to be fine? Absolutely. In the next Not an Expert sharpening series, I am going to sharpen this knife. I'm going to see if any of that little bend, that twist that I put into this blade can be getting out. And if not, it's gonna be sharp. There'll be a little wave there. Is it still perfectly good? Not perfectly good, but I guarantee I could go and blast through a bunch of prep without even knowing that it's there. It'll be in my head. That sometimes is half the battle. But here's the deal, folks. If you want to spatchcock a chicken, that's why it's good to have different types of knives at different Rockwells, different steels, different geometry, different uses. And that's it. I feel good about this, actually. I thought this thing was going to be destroyed because I did this once to a turkey with the Sugimoto. My hands are dirty. Where's it at? This? Oh. It looked like an old country road with the amount of potholes and divots that were in it. That's it. How to spatchcock a turkey, a chicken, a bird, big bird even. Remove the spine, break the breast. Wow. Remove the spine, break the... I have gum in my mouth and I realized it like 5 minutes after I started filming, so I think that's why I've been getting a little bit tongue-tied. Anyway, remove the spine, use shears or a soft steel German knife or a dual-purpose chopper, break that breastplate, throw it in the oven, throw it in your smoker, and you're gonna have a much better cooking experience. I'm Chef Brandon with CutleryandMore.com. Thanks for tuning in. Please, don't use this for that. Take care. I'm gonna exit this way this time. But now I'm still in frame, I think. Oh, shit.